Hey guys, welcome back to Jardin Autoworks. If you like working on cars and trucks, if you like looking at cars and trucks, if you like doing fabrication and modification, you have come to the right place. Make sure and hit that like and subscribe button for more content. Tonight we're going to be trying to start the white Crew Cab pickup. It's a 1973 Crew Cab. It was my granddad's. We're going to drive it till the tires fall off, but it's been sitting on the side of my shop for about 5 years now. The transmission went out of it. All the forward gears went out of it anyway. Tonight we're going to try and start it because I want to try and move it. I want the power steering to work. So let's get to it. We parked the truck 5 years ago because the forward gears went out. We were towing stuff home and well, we were headed up our hill here and the transmission gave out in the forward gears. So at that time we got the 90 Bronco II and hooked onto it, put it in low gear and pulled it up to the house. So now, after sitting for 3 years without being started, I've overhauled the carburetor. We're going to check the fluids here in just a second. We're going to hook up a battery and we're going to see if it'll start. This truck, 1973 Chevy Crew Cab pickup, small block Chevy, has never failed me. It may take a little bit of starter fluid, but it is always fired up. And it's always been a great third vehicle. So I've got many more vehicles than that now. So, but at any rate, let's check the fluids and we'll get to it. So again, this is a 1973 Chevy Crew Cab pickup. This was my granddad's. He bought it from the Woodburn auction sale in, man, I want to say the early 80s, like maybe even 1980. This is a 1973 pickup truck, small block Chevy. I just overhauled the Autoworks carburetor. It's a 1400 series carburetor. It actually came off of this truck, but it didn't run very well. So when I overhauled it, put all new gaskets in it, cleaned it out real well, and adjusted the floats, adjusted the outer linkage for the choke and the accelerator pump. Hopefully it'll start up and just idle. So let's check the fluids here. Checking oil first. It doesn't need to be brand new, it just needs to have oil. And it looks like the oil is full. Doesn't look like there's any moisture that's gotten into there since it's been sitting. And we'll just double check the coolant. And we'll get some coolant in there and just add just a little bit just to make sure we've got some water in there. Sounded like there was coolant in there. We're just going to add just a little bit more here. Okay, I think that'll be enough because there was some coolant in there. You could hear it as soon as when I started pouring the coolant in, you heard it hit fluid pretty close to the top. Alright, so we've got fluid in there. We've checked the oil. The oil is up all the way to the full mark actually, and it doesn't look like there's any moisture that's gotten into the motor itself since it's been sitting here for 3+ years. We've got fluid in it. Let's get the battery and get that stuck down in there and hooked up and see if we can't fire this thing up. Alright, so we've got the battery. Let's stick him down in there and get him hooked up. See if we can't fire this thing up. Alright, now we've got the battery hooked up. I got to check and see if we've got the keys in there, and then we'll give her a crank, see what happens. Alright, so we've got the battery in, we've got the fluids checked, and we've got a new fuel filter on there too. I just had one laying around, so why not, right? I'm going to see how the oil pressure's doing while I'm trying to crank up some fuel here. Well, the oil pressure is really good as we're cranking, but we're just not getting any fuel up here. Cool, did you see that? We have fuel up to the fuel filter. Evidently it's just wanting to spew out of there. And I'm not sure what happened here. Ooh, it smells like varnish too. Nice. Alright. So let me go get a screwdriver and we'll tighten up the fuel filter. And we'll go from there because we got fuel in the fuel filter now. So we'll tighten the bottom clamp here just to make sure. So we're going to hit it with some starting fluid, crank the key, see if we can't get it to fire off. Okay, not quite sure what happened here. So we had battery and then we didn't. Alright guys, so it's a chassis ground that's the issue.
This guy right here, as it went around and it connected back up underneath this wiring loom here. Let's see if we can get down there. You can kind of see the end of some wires right there. That's where it bolts to the core support for the chassis ground. So that small ground wire broke at the end right there. That's what was causing our no start issue, or no starter issue. So what I did was I just put a new terminal end on it and a self-tapper.
Always a good lesson. If you're cranking and then all of a sudden you lose all the power, like there's no lights on the dashboard, there's no clicking sound when you're trying to start it, all of that, look for the ground. The ground is going to be the issue. Just about 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the ground. So we're going to shoot some starter fluid in it and we're going to see if it fires up. Let's do it. That's all it took. It's a battery ground, and we shot a little bit of starter fluid in it, fired right up. Once we got fluid up into the carburetor, like I said, this thing has been so reliable. The motor it's a 305, for goodness sakes. I don't know why they put a 305 in here. but I've never changed it out. I freshened it up, did the head gaskets on it, put some new gaskets, I resealed the motor basically, and that's all I've done to it. We rebuilt the carburetor and dialed in all the adjustments, and it's sitting here idling. It didn't take too much. The fuel's probably bad. Like I said, it's been sitting for 3 to 5 years, and I'm just really surprised that it's running now. But it's running, it's sitting here idling, and so we've got all the access to power brakes, power steering. It won't move on its own because the transmission is out of it. But when we pull it forward using the winch on the Blazer, we'll be able to stop it, we'll be able to turn it without too much effort. That's going to do it for working tonight. We got the truck running. That was my goal tonight. Put the carburetor on it after we rebuilt it, and then fire it up. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Jardin Autoworks. Thanks.